supermicrocomputer was down 10% in yesterday's trading session, based on the news that the company would be issuing and taking on $200 billion worth of debt in the form of convertible notes. Now, investors did not like this news and the stock was sold off heavily yesterday. So, big question is, if you're holding SMCI, should you sell? Should you buy the dip? Or should you wait for confirmation? Let's take a look. Now, if you find value in my analysis of SMCI stock today or other stocks on my channel, you may also find value in my email newsletter. If you subscribe, I'll send you professional trading tips to help you make more profits trading stocks. I'll leave a link in the description below. Check it out. So SMCI stock was down 10% in yesterday's trading session, based on the news that it's planning to offer 2 billion convertible notes with a plan for a $200 million share buyback. So a news article by MT Newswires has summarized this news announcement, and it says, and I quote, SMCI said Tuesday it priced a private placement to qualified institutional buyers of 2 billion principal amount of convertible senior notes, which will be due in 2030. The initial purchasers have been granted a 13-day option to purchase up to 300 million of additional amount of notes, and the notes will be convertible. The notes will be convertible at an initial rate of 55.20 per share. So the net proceeds of this operation estimated to be around 1.96 billion to 2.26 billion. And these funds, SMCI claim, will be used to fund certain capped call transactions, share repurchases, and for general corporate purposes, the company said. So in short, SMCI are taking on 2 billion worth of debt to hopefully grow the company. And the company has done this before in 2024. So it's nothing new and it's quite a common practice in order to raise capital. However, often shareholders don't like companies taking on more debt. They see the risk increasing for their investment. There's also a risk that down the line, shares could become diluted, thereby reducing the overall value. Of course, the most important thing is how investors react to this news. And we can see, looking on the daily chart, that the reaction was negative. The stock traded down to find support at around $40. So it fell around 10% from the close on Friday, which was around about $45. It opened on Monday at 43. The news was released and the stock traded down to $40. So big question is now, is that the end of the fall? Will it find support around about $40? We just don't know yet. We're going to need the price data for this week to confirm whether the sellers are going to remain in control, or perhaps it's a one-day thing. Buyers are going to come back in, see value at $40, and the price is going to rebound, back up to this level here. Now, whilst the drop of 10% is not insignificant, it's not huge either, and SMCI is relatively volatile and can move 10, 15, 20% in a weekly session. You can see at the moment we've got this week's bar forming with just 1 day of data as I'm recording this on Monday. So you can see that for the week it opened at 43. The news came out and it was sold off, dropped about 10% to $40. So $40 could be a support level, or we might find tomorrow or over this next week the price may be sold off more, and price might find support at this key level of $38. We just don't know yet. I think this week will be interesting to see whether the sellers stay in control or the buyers come back in seeing value around $40 and start to buy up the stock, taking the price back up, perhaps up to the peak of 46. And then if there is aggressive buying, we may even see a breakout. Now, if price does fall further this week and the sellers stay in control, if price falls through this level of $38, then it may find support around about this level here of around $35. And that will be the support of this trend line. And I think worst case scenario, if there's heavy selling and the trend line support doesn't hold, there is a chance that SMCI could head back down and test this key level here, $25. I do think overall this scenario is unlikely, and I think the most likely scenario is that this level of 38 may hold. I think the most likely scenario is that if SMCI falls further, it'll find support around this level of $38 and then start to move back up. It may be a few weeks before it starts to move to the top of this zone here and perhaps challenge that level of $47. So if you're holding SMCI for the long term, there's no reason to panic at all. If you're looking to enter this stock on confirmation, I still think a key level to enter would be above this level here, $48. And that would be based on Dow theory. So we've had this price retracement back into this trough here. It's created this peak here. It's come back to test this level of $38 a couple of times. It was moving up. It was heading up towards this level here before the news announcement yesterday regarding this new debt. So it has been sold off slightly to here, and it may fall further and test $38 once again. We just don't know yet. This is a real possibility. But to confirm entry for this stock and the buyers are back in control, we do need to see the price break above this level here and this peak here, $48. So this level here is where you want to see price move to get confirmation that the buyers are in control. Overall, since this big green bullish bar here, SMCI has been trading sort of within this range here, up and down. So if you wait for confirmation above 48 and enter this stock, what sort of potential is available? So your first target could be the key price level here of $66, which was created from this peak back in February 2025. And your stop loss could be this key level here of $38. So this would offer an initial risk to reward ratio of 2.1. And if price keeps going, then you could target this key level here of around $100, giving you 110% upside and a risk to reward ratio of just 6. And if SMCI keeps going all the way up to 122 and it challenges that all-time high, you've got a potential profit of 155%, and that might unfold over the next 3 to 6 months. We can see here that SMCI can move fast when it takes off. There was 3 weeks here where it moved up from this key level of $25 all the way up to 66. And that was an increase of 157%. So this stock can move when it wants to. However, moves like this are generally unsustainable. If you catch them, you're lucky. But a more sustainable move is that the price moves up in stages. Effectively, we want price to do something like this, move up in stages with pullbacks in between, and this is a more healthy, sustained move up to that target of 122. If we look on the monthly chart for SMCI, we can see the stock is trending upwards. I've got that trend line underneath these two key troughs for SMCI, which include November 2024, April 25, and also that low in May 25. So it does look as if this stock is moving up long term. Now, of course, with June, we've got a week to go, or basically 4 or 5 trading days to go before this month is up. So even if the price doesn't move up that much this month because of this 10% drop, it does look as if it might hold above this key level of $38, and it's going to trade above the trend line, which is a good thing. It does show that this trend looks as if it wants to keep going, and there's nothing major to worry about long term. Of course, in the next week, if price does move down and we see price trade below this trend line, yes, there's a possibility that SMCI might move lower. And on the monthly chart, in the big picture, this level of 25 would be that next key level of support. But overall, looking back on the weekly chart, I do think SMCI is still looking bullish, and this might be a temporary glitch in the price action. So let me know what you think in the comments. Are you still bullish on SMCI? Are you more bearish now based on that 10% drop? Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.